Come on, give God another hand clap of praise. Come on, I said let's give God a hand clap of praise. Amen, amen, amen. I want to lift the message, lift the passage, rather, message in the passage, book of Nehemiah chapter 1. Nehemiah chapter 1, first chapter of the book of Nehemiah. Not going to be long, but we do want to be effective. Amen, amen, amen. Nehemiah chapter 1. Nehemiah chapter 1. Amen. Nehemiah chapter 1. Amen. I would like to acknowledge, is Miss Jones in the building? Miss Jones? No, Miss Jones. Okay, so she should be en route. Amen. Amen. When she shows up, you'll know who she is. We're going to let her speak when she gets here. Nehemiah chapter 1. Nehemiah chapter 1. I want to read from the Message Bible this morning. If you feel free to take whatever rendering of the Bible that you have. We want to read from the Message Bible this morning. Nehemiah chapter 1. As we're going to give our choir a great big hand, will you? Come on. You can do better than that. Amen. Amen. Most certainly we thank God for your contributions in this service. Amen. Nehemiah chapter 1. Beginning at verse 1. The memoirs of Nehemiah, son of Hakaliah. It was the month of Kislev in the 20th year. At the same time, I was in the palace complex at Susa. Hanani, one of my brothers, had just arrived from Judah with some fellow Jews. I asked them about the conditions among the Jews there who survived the exile, and about Jerusalem. They told me the exile survivors who are left there in the province are in bad shape. Conditions are appalling. The wall of Jerusalem is still rubble. The city gates are still cinders. Verse number 4 will be our contextual text this morning. When I heard this, I sat and wept. I mourned for days, fasting and praying before the God of heaven. Let me read that again. When I heard this, I sat down and wept. I mourned for days. Now, the proverbial question right there ought to be, how many days did you? But the Bible don't tell us. But you do see the plural on days. Amen. I mourned for days. Watch this. In my mourning, I fasted. In my mourning, I fasted. I'm crying, but I'm fasting. I'm weeping, but I'm fasting. I'm tore up, but I'm fasting. From the flow up, I'm fasting. Come on. Don't know which way to go, but I'm fasting. And not only am I fasting, but I'm coupling my fasting with praying before the God of heaven. Man, I promise I ain't going to be in here long. Y'all better catch this train because I really got to get on home. Look at your neighbor. If you don't like him, you shouldn't have sat next to him, but it's too late now. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, this morning's sermon topic, from a burdened heart to a bended knee. Come on, put your hands together. Give God a hand clap of praise. From a burdened heart to a bended knee. You may be seated. From a burdened heart. From a burdened heart to a bended knee. All of us in this building, brothers and sisters, can testify and relate to the fact that you've had some situations in your life that have caused your heart to be burdened. As you peruse the parameters of the landscape, even this side of heaven, even in the city of Houston, there are some issues, some struggles, some plights, some strains that have caused a level of uneasiness to succumb you, so much so that you go home after having closed the door behind you, sit in your chair, put your hand on your head, tears flow from your face, and your heart is burdened. Because the reality of life is that anybody who has any type of spiritual intellect, any type of heart of compassion, you want the best for somebody else. And you don't have to put yourself in a position, brothers and sisters, where you are on the needy side, but all of us want to feel needed. Come on, talk back to I said you don't have to put yourself on the needy side, but everybody in the building ought to want to feel needed at some point in time. Am I talking to anybody in this building early in this message who can testify that you don't need nobody to pat you on the back, but it sure feel good. You don't need nobody to blow smoke. Come on here, huh? But it sure enough feel good. You don't need your name written on the wall, but it sure look good to see it up there. You don't have to have a plaque. You don't have to have a bag of chips. You don't, come on, help me in here. You don't have to have a trophy, but it sure enough feel good that you have somebody to validate what you do. Everybody wants to feel appreciated, validated. As a matter of fact, brothers and sisters, isn't that how God made us? God made us with 5 senses. Do I have to give them to you? You should know them all by yourself. And then within those 5 senses, interwoven in those 5 senses, God gives us the ability, brothers and sisters, to feel, to think, to taste, to hear. All of these senses come together, and God knew that we were going to need these senses. Come on, help me here. Huh? Not so much that we throw pity parties, but rather for us to throw praise parties. Lord have mercy. You see, the problem is that we see ourselves in situations and we weep so long that we forget, y'all, to lift up our hands to tell God thank you. Do I have anybody here who can testify that you've been in a storm just a little bit longer than you want to, and you find yourself mumbling and complaining versus lifting and proclaiming? Because you realize just how good God has it. Do I have anybody in the building who started off their prayers complaining, and no sooner as you got to the middle of your prayer, to the comma of your prayer, you looked at your hands and your hands looked new. You looked at your feet did too. You looked around, your children were doing fine. You inhaled and exhaled, and you said, Lord, I'm tired of complaining. I'm just going to lift up my hands and tell you thank you for all you've done for me. So mature Christians leave their complaints in the complaint department. And they understand that their blessings are not in the complaint department. Their blessings are in the claims department. Man, did I just say that? They realize, rewind, play, that your blessings are not in the complaint department, but your blessings are in the claims department. Stop complaining over what God has said you have the right to claim. Healing is it. Come on, help me in here. I'm already healed. So I'm not going to complain about a body ache. I'm not going to complain about a toothache, a headache, a knee ache, because I'm already healed. So stop complaining and start Okay. I got to get out of here. So, Lord have mercy. Nehemiah lived most of his life in Babylon. His home, however, was Jerusalem. His name, get this. His name means the Lord has comforted. Or the Lord is consolation, which perhaps gives us insight into his personality. Understand that his personality is one who cares. And that might not seem much to you, brothers and sisters, but somebody in here can testify that you are where you are today because somebody cared. Look at your name and say, he right there, he right there. That's right, I am right there. You, as a matter of fact, didn't we just come out of Black History? I just happen to believe that every day is Black History. But, Black History scholars will tell us that all of us who are in this place today, we enjoy the rights that we have today because folk like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he cared. Folk by the name of Rosa Parks, she cared. Folk by the name of Thurgood Marshall, he cared. But there's a brother by the name of Jesus who sits on the throne, sits on high, looks down low. Look at your neighbor and say he cares. He cares, he cares, he cares, he cares. He cares, he cares, he cares, he cares. Now watch this, watch this, watch this. Since he cares, you should care. Lord have mercy, preach, boy. I said, since he cares, you should care. New Providence, we are in a church that's in the community, that's for the community. And every time I hear about things that happen in our community that's less than positive, I care. When I hear about gunshots at the apartments that's right next door, I care. When I hear about little young babies that's selling their bodies on the street, I care. When I hear about little babies that's under 16 having babies, I care. When I see grandmas that don't know how to dress, I care. When I see old folk that don't know how to talk right in front of other folk, I care. I'm just saying. Look at your name and say, he just saying, he just saying, he just saying. Somebody should care. And since you care, act like you care. Roll up your sleeves, put on your hard hat and your boots, and don't just talk about it, but be about it. And so he cares. Now, people who care tend to get looked over. People who care oftentimes are mistaken because their meekness gets taken for weakness. People think folk who care are weak. Folk who care, come on, help me, huh? People don't gravitate to folk who care. Are you in here? And so it's almost like you have to be hood everywhere you go. You ain't got to say, man, just look at amen, I'll understand. If you don't cuss every other word, then you don't care. Come on, help me in here. I grew up in a day and time, brothers and sisters, where everybody yelled at you to get their point across. You ain't got to say, man, just look at amen, I'll understand, huh? Are you in here? And one day, I walked in the house and my mother said, boy, why don't you go over there and put them groceries up for me? I didn't hear. Go put the groceries up.